Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you're all doing fine, guys. Thank you so much for joining the stream today. Of course, guys, on this Saturday is Premier League weekend. Of course, we're not playing today. So you know what? Let them do their business. It was Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 0. Thank goodness I didn't do the watch-along for that game. Absolutely. I was going to do the watch-along for Aston Villa against Newcastle, but thank goodness I didn't do the watch-along because it was an absolute bore fest, of course. 0-0. Between Newcastle and Aston Villa, guys. Weren't too impressed, if I'm being totally real with you guys. Absolutely, guys. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video if you guys can do that. I've got the poll here, over here. Guys, or over here. Is it over here or is it over here? Well, no, we got the poll anyway. Get involved in the poll. Type vote 1, vote 2, vote 3, vote 4, vote 5, vote 6 for any of those players that you would prefer at Manchester United. Of course, there's going to be many players that are going to be linked to Manchester United, in particular in that midfield position, guys. It's going to be a little bit precarious this next 2 weeks now. It is a very, very important 2 weeks, a very important 2 weeks. We're going to find out a lot about Ineos and where their plans are. Yeah, we got 3 players in. But that's not good enough. We still need a midfielder. We still generally need a goalkeeper as well, probably a right wing back as well. It's nowhere near good enough. And we would have said that at the end of last season, that this is not good enough and we need to do a lot more than just having the 3 attackers. Great, he fits the attack. What about the midfield? What about the goalkeeper? You haven't done that yet. So hopefully, I would like to think that Man United have a contingency plan. I'm hearing a few stories today in regards to Adam Wharton, in regards to Lucien Bukuri as well, guys. Lots of information coming in regards to these. Lucien and Gume. We've got lots of information coming in regards to that. Manchester United do have other midfield targets. But one thing I don't want is I don't want Man United to be panicking and panic buying. I want them to get the right midfielder in. Now, right at the beginning of the window, my feelings about Baleba and my feelings about Wharton were pretty neck and neck. I didn't prefer either one. Either one, what I would have loved at Manchester United. Now, Manchester United have been quoted a 70 million price tag for Adam Wharton. Look, I know a lot of people are going to be downhearted. They're going to be frustrated. They're going to be annoyed. And they're not going to be wanting to believe this, of course. But I'm looking at it. I'm listening to things. And I'm taking everything with a pinch of salt. Of course I am. I always do. But what I will do, I will not completely dismiss anything. I want to listen to it. I want to see where it goes. Adam Wharton would be a fabulous signing for Manchester United, no matter what other people say. Some people saying he's overrated, was absolutely ridiculous. Lucien Agume would be an absolute brilliant player as well. And that is a player. Lucien Agume is another player that has come out of the blue. He's come out of the blue recently, hasn't he, guys? Out of nothing, he's come out of the blue. And guys, no one knew who he was a couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean? It's a bit like that, isn't it? No one knew who he was, guys. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I think that, yeah, he's a very good player. Is he the new Baleba? Is he the new Baleba? Could he possibly be the new Baleba, guys? Who knows? Who knows? Could he possibly be the new Baleba, guys? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about that. But he's very talented, and he would obviously represent a much cheaper price tag than basically a Adam Wharton or a Baleba would be. Of course, you know, so we have to look, we have to shop smart. We have to look at things. And if we get in a Gume, we can probably get a goalkeeper as well. You're looking at that and we could probably get a goalkeeper as well, guys. Absolutely. So I would like to say that. But Adam Wharton playing for Crystal Palace, of course, he's going to want to come to Manchester United. Of course, Manchester United is a team that are much bigger than Crystal Palace. And this could be his one opportunity to move to a team like Man United at the end of the day. No matter if Crystal Palace are in the Conference League, no one really cares about that, to be honest with you. I think his opportunity to move to Man United is obviously there. But what I would also point out is that Man United are also interested in other midfielders, likely, obviously, Lucien Agume, obviously, Lamine Camara is another one that we are interested in as well. But we got 2 weeks to do the deal, guys. We got 2 weeks to make this happen, 2 weeks to make it happen. And hopefully we get it done, guys. Hopefully we get this through the door, guys. Hopefully we get this through the door, of course. Absolutely. So Man United and midfielders are going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of noise over these next couple of weeks, guys. Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of anger, annoyance, frustration, things like that, which we're already seeing at the moment. Lots of anger, frustration, annoyance about it as already, guys, as we speak, of course. Absolutely. Guys, absolutely. Big up everyone who's joining me today. Thank you so much, everyone. You absolute legends. Thank you so much for joining me today, of course. Big up everyone. Big up Alexander. Big up Ephraim. Big up everyone. I hope you're doing Sal, do you think Palace will sell Wharton at this time? We'll have to wait and see, mate. We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see what happens. We have to wait and see in regards to this next 2 weeks is going to be very, very educational. I do think we'll hear a lot next week in what Man United are going to be doing. We might hear a lot of spin. Of course, we will hear a lot of spin, but it's up to us to differentiate what is going to be spin and what is going to be reality. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and we do have to separate that from that at the end of the day, guys, don't we? And we have to hope that there is some news coming out, of course, and there is truth in regards to a lot of this news, of course, with Manchester United, of course, guys, and that's what I would say in regards to that. But yeah, definitely would love Man United to get a midfielder. We're very, very light in midfield at the moment, guys. Very light in midfield, and Man United do need to fix that midfield position. Absolutely, they do. Because at the end of the day, look, look, you saw it in the friendlies. We have a huge gaping hole there, guys. A huge gaping hole. To be honest with you, that hasn't been fixed. To be honest, guys, in my opinion, and we need to fix it. Ephraim. Sal, do you think Wharton will complement our midfield? Yes, I think he would. But there's a number of midfielders out there. I would stress that there are a number of midfielders out there that would also complement our defense. Do you know what I mean? They would also complement our defense, in my opinion. They would also do that, of course. Ephraim, Sal, do you think we'll get a goalkeeper? I'm not too sure about the goalkeeper. It's gone very quiet in regards to the goalkeeper situation at the moment. It has gone a little bit quiet in regards to the goalkeeper situation. So I would say that, yeah, look, I hope we do get a goalkeeper. I really do, guys. But you know what? Time is running out. Time is ticking. And the players that we're getting at the moment are not coming to fruition. So when we're looking at the players at the moment, guys, nothing is coming out into fruition at the moment, guys. Absolutely. And I would like to think that Man United will get a goalkeeper at the moment. Man United are concentrating mainly on that midfield position, of course, guys. Absolutely. Ski, what's going on, my friend? I'm starting to realize that the players we're linked to are driven by choices from Baleba. We don't know that, Ski. You don't know that. That's trust me, bruv stuff, mate. John O'Connell. I don't like the Ugarte over Wharton at 20. I would like Ugarte over Wharton 20 million. Yeah, but would represent a lot cheaper price, of course, guys. It would represent a much cheaper price than what obviously Wharton and Baleba would have cost, of course, guys. Absolutely. But yeah, at the end of the day, what I would say is that, yeah, look, I would love us to get a midfielder, and that is what I would like, of course. Good morning, Sanjay. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I'm chilling at the beach. Big up, my friend. Absolutely. Big up, everyone. Crystal, please no Wharton buy. That guy is below what we got. He won't bring anything to the team. He is not United standard. Why would you say that? What makes you think he's not United standard when he dominated an FA Cup final midfield? He dominated Liverpool a week ago in the Community Shield final. You know, he's in England international. Why would you say that? Because he's English or because he's not fashionable? Why? Please clarify why you would say that. Please, could you ask for some amount of the money, Wharton, just like Brian? Yeah, Mason Mount, you know, he needs to leave Man United, don't he, at the end of the day? But he's definitely going to be playing for Man United, of course, guys. Definitely, you know, very, very soon, guys. Absolutely. He's definitely going to be doing that. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. These 2 weeks are going to be very, very educational, of course, guys. These 2 weeks are going to be very... Thank you so much, Niche. Big up yourself. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Really appreciate everyone, guys. Really appreciate APN. Big up APN. Big up Sal. Wharton is an injury prone. No, not injury prone. I wouldn't say that. It depends on the severity of the injury. Look, we look at Baleba. Baleba's had one good season for Brighton. No, so did Ferguson. Ferguson had one good season for Brighton. You know, so and you know, then the next season he was a nobody. People were comparing Ferguson to Rooney. So let's say next season, what happens is that, you know what, Baleba has a bad season this season. And then what happens? You know what I mean? And then look, he's been overrated. Thank God we didn't pay the 100 million from him. It's going to be like that, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see. Niche, love the channel, but the idea Palace will sell Wharton this late into the window isn't realistic. I don't know, mate. I would have to wait and see about that. We'd have to say about that. There is 2 weeks in this window. Anything can happen, mate. It's happened before. So why do we not scout players from every country? This is the problem. Good afternoon, Carsley. This is the problem with Man United at the end of the day. Man United are very tunnel visioned in the way they do their business. They're not really scouting properly. They're not getting scouts through, are they, at the end of the day? Ravel, system notwithstanding, what do you think the best role is for Kobe Mainoo? I think we need to sign Amram's system, but also look for the fits to Mainoo 4-3-4-4-2-3-1. Is Amram is fired? I don't think it has anything to do with the system, the way Kobe Mainoo is playing. He's playing in midfield, and that is it. There's nothing in the system that tells you that, it won't work for Kobe Mainoo. It's very similar, what he's been doing in the past. What I would say is that he has to take accountability for himself. Many of those players have to take accountability for themselves and not play the blame game, to be honest. Not play the blame game. They have to take accountability and they have to make sure that they play well for Man United and not blame the system, because great players play in good systems, no matter what the system. I remember loads of players in the past playing in systems, guys, playing in systems that otherwise you would say, it wouldn't work these days for a player like Mainoo or something like that. I just feel like Man United do need to take, the Man United players do need to take accountability, guys. Absolutely, I think so. I think they need to take accountability, and I think they need to do things for their actions, work on their actions above anything else. Of course, guys. Let me just turn this off. Of course, guys. I'll work on anything else that they need to. I'm just turning this off, guys. Thank you. Not really working. So let me get past this, guys. So ignore that there, guys. Official Edison, not with Man City squad. That's the Edison of Man City, of course. The Edison, the goalkeeper, of course, guys. Crystal, our scout needs to go to other leagues and get a very strong, young, and career-driven player, which is Adam Wharton, mate. He is. Sal, which players do you think in the market the same profile as Baleba? Guys, look, I would say this. Nobody knew who Baleba was a year ago. Nobody knew who he was. So at the end of the day, there's probably loads of players out there in Europe that are probably just as good as Baleba. Probably a lot more cheaper than Baleba as well. Nietzsche. Let's offer Brighton scouting team 200 a year work for the first. Look, I wouldn't pay too much attention in regards to this, Nietzsche, because Man United were interested in Baleba before he went to Brighton. They already knew about Baleba. It's nothing to do with Brighton. The only thing with Brighton, they took the risk. And that's the only thing. Man United were aware of Carlos Baleba before he went to Brighton. Absolutely. Kevin, big up, Kevin. How you doing, my friend? Are we doing well? I don't know how much would it cost, bro, Premier League proven we should get him in the door. Absolutely, Kevin. I believe so as well. At the moment, we're being quoted about 70 million, of course, with incentives that probably go up to 80-something. But at the moment, it's just talk. It is just talk. We have to face that. It's just talk. And nothing solid is going on at the moment. There has been inquiries between Man United and Crystal Palace, but we have to obviously take that with a pinch of salt. And let's see what's going on now. Obviously, what has been going on, obviously, with Baleba and stuff, it's wasted a bit of time. We're a little bit frustrated. We're a little bit angry. We don't want to go down that road, do we? Of having our hopes up and then our hopes just get whipped off, of course, and just end. Because at the end of the day, what I would say. John O'Connell. Sal, did you see Baleba has started for Brighton? I thought he was injured. Yeah, he's starting for Brighton. 70 million and getting Wharton Palace will want 100 million. Who's your source, Jamie? Trust me, bruv, again. This ownership lied to us, and they know the fan base. You take too much emotion in it, Jamie. You got to take the emotion out of it, mate. You know who Ineos are. You know who the Glazers are. Take your heart out of it, mate, and realize that these guys are absolute scumbag frauds, mate. And that's what you need to understand. At the end of the day, don't get your heart too invested in it. I told you, you got to be careful. You got to worry. Things can happen in football. You might get rejected. Player might not come in. It's happened in the past. It's going to happen again, guys. Absolutely. And you know what I would say is that this ownership within this next 2 weeks have got a lot of proving to do to this fan base. We got a lot of proving to do to this fan base. Absolutely. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And at the moment, I'm not seeing much, although I think Man United will sell a couple of players probably, and that will probably be reinvested into the team. Whoever was aware of Baleba before he went to Brighton needs to be sacked. This is not the first time, Niche, that this has happened to Man United over the last 10 years in particular. Man United have been interested in many players over the years and haven't made that move, namely Haaland, who, went to Carrington and was shown around Carrington with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know what I mean? And we didn't make that move and we didn't sign, obviously, Haaland, which you know what? There you go. That's disgraceful in itself at the end of the day, isn't it? You know what I mean? Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying about what I would say, Jamie, take your heart out of it. Take your heart of it. At the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. We've got 2 weeks left in this window. Don't put your faith in one player. Never in football, don't put your faith in one player. Oh, we want that player. I want that player because it's flavour of the month. And that is exactly what it is. That was Baleba, flavour of the month, right? And that's what it is. He's a great player. I'm not taking nothing away from that. But a year ago, no one knew who he was, right? So what we got to do, we got to find the next one. And whether that is Luciano Gume, whether that is Lamine Kamara, whether that is Adam Wharton, whether that is Edison, who knows? You know, at the end of the day, we need to find a midfielder. And even if it is a stopgap, if the midfielder is talented and improves our midfield, then fantastic. I know that we can't sign players who are not as good as the current players we got. They got to be better than Ugarte. They got to be better than Mainoo. And I understand that. But there's not many players within our squad right now that have the attributes of an Adam Wharton or Carlos Baleba at the moment. They don't have those attributes. We need those attributes. We're very slow from the build-up at the back and getting into midfield and the midfield to the strikers. We need that middle, someone in the middle who can take that ball from deep, bring that ball forward and take it further, of course. Assume it's a Brighton type of signing, we should be signing. Yeah, I mean, look, what I would say about Brighton. Brighton, as much as they keep in hold of Baleba, good for them. They're keeping hold of Baleba. They're wasting a year of his career because, you know, we all know about Brighton. Brighton don't win anything. Brighton are one of those teams who just like to make money. That's all it is, apart from when it's Manchester United. Keeping hold of Carlos Baleba at this moment in time is just being done out of spite. They're not going to win anything. They're never going to win anything. You know, they don't care. I actually think that they don't care about winning anything, guys. I really don't think so. Guys, Edison isn't playing for Man City, which means Edison could quite possibly go to Galatasaray, which in turn means Donnarumma might go to Man City. Obviously, that was the big one, whether Edison goes to a Galatasaray or not. And obviously, if he does go to Galatasaray, that means that Donnarumma, you know, would be coming in, of course, guys. Jamie, Sadio Benz will sign for someone else if we carry on messing around this market into us sniffing around him. Yes, they are. I know that. He's going to City or Liverpool next summer. We'll have to wait and see. And one thing I will say, Jamie, and it's one thing I agree about, right, is that you snooze, you lose in football, and you don't wait until next season. And as we know of Ineos, as we know of Jim Ratcliffe and these guys there, in January, we said we're going to absolutely, you know, clean up shop. We're going to fix everything at the club in the summer. That's what we said in January. At the moment, I think we fixed the attack, kind of. We fixed the attack. We haven't done the midfield. We haven't done the goalkeeper. We haven't done the defense, in theory, have we? You know, so what I would say is that, look, you know, I don't want to hear about what's happening next season. I don't want to know we're going to sign this player, we're going to sign that player next season. We don't know what's going to happen next season. We don't know if another player will come out of nowhere and become a world-class player and we're like, oh my goodness, there's another Baleba on the market. Do you know what I mean? We don't know that at the end of the day. All we know is that they're just pushing something, kicking a stone down the road. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. They're kicking it down the road, you know, until it gets to the time and they're like, we can't get that player. We can't get that player. Do you know what I mean? And this is what Ineos have been doing for a while now, kicking things down the road, hoping, you know what, we'll forget about it. But we're not going to forget about it, of course. And when you think about it, a bit like the ownership, a bit like they're going to buy the club in 2006, a bit like Man United are going to win the league in 2028. These kind of things, kicking things down the road. This is what they're good at. They're very good at kicking things down the road, in my opinion. Slicer here. I mean, it was pretty obvious they were not going to sell Baleba. Plus, now next season, Liverpool and Chelsea next going to bid for Baleba. So let's move on from Baleba. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't pretty obvious because at the end of the day, Baleba wanted to go to Man United. So that is precarious. That is actually a string to Man United's bow. So that was not obvious. What is obvious is that Man United needed to make the move because you just said it there in a comment. If Liverpool or Chelsea are going after him next season, Man United need to make a move now. 150 million would have enticed Mr. Baleba and they would have sold Baleba. 115 million, that's what they said, right? 115 million pounds, they would have sold Baleba to Man United. They would have sold him to Man United. You know what I mean? Which means it ain't in the realms of impossibility. You know, it isn't, it's pretty obvious. No, because you have no contacts in regards to that. You have no sources in regards to that at the end of the day. What's obvious is that he wanted to go to Man United. They quoted a price, 150 million, and Man United didn't want to pay the money. That's it. Whereas if it was Qatar, if it was someone like that, of that entity, they would have paid the money. They would have paid the money. They would have paid 150 million. They would have paid what it took to get Baleba. Just like Liverpool paid for Florian Wirtz, they would have paid for Carlos Baleba. Guys, at the end, guys. Surely Brighton would have set 100 million for no game. They are exactly. They would have accepted it. They would have accepted it. But the thing is, Man United have bottled it. Man United bottled the bid for Baleba. That's what happened. They bottled the bid for Baleba. They got quoted a price and they went, "Whoa, here we go." So basically, what Brighton have said, we don't want to sell him. We don't want to sell him now. But if you want to buy him now, this is how much it's going to cost you. This is how much it's going to cost you. And what Man United have done is gone, whoa. Whoa, it's down to Man United at the end of the day. They placed that money on the table, they would have got Baleba, which isn't in the realms of impossibility. You know, at the end of the day, I don't like self-righteousness people come and they say, I told you, I knew this wouldn't happen. I knew this, like people were saying about Mbeumo, Sesko, Cunha. All those people there were telling me about Mbeumo, Sesko and Cunha. We're not going to get him. It's unrealistic. What happened? What happened? We got Sesko. Was that unrealistic? A lot of people would have told us that's unrealistic. We got Mbeumo. Was that unrealistic? A lot of people would have told me that was unrealistic. You know? Kwama Baleba, we did not put a transfer request, bro. Kwama Baleba, why did he not? Because at the end of the day, if just like what happened with Sesko, Kevin. Sesko wanted clarification about how, if Man United can afford him. He needed to know that if Man United are going to put in a bid, and Man United didn't put in a bid. Obviously, they knew the price. And Baleba's a different character than other players. He probably didn't want to do that. Gathered what Brighton have done for him. You know, some players want to move, but not every player comes out and puts a transfer request. Not every player does that. You know, there are some players who care about themselves. Isaac, for example. But there aren't many players that would do that. Absolutely not. Oh, yes, they did, John. They bottled it, mate. They bottled it. Guys, they did. They did bottle it, mate. I know you want to back Ineos and stuff like that, but Ineos so far have failed this window, mate. They failed. 3 players when we came 15th. 3, I don't care who they are. I don't care. 3 players. We ain't got a midfield. We ain't got a defense. We ain't got a goalkeeper. We ain't got a right wing back. We ain't got a squad. We're late. They failed. And to be honest with you, they had the price there in their face. You know, in their face, they had the price there in their face, and Man United didn't want to pay it. Listen to Ornstein, John. Listen to what Ornstein said. They put a price on the table. Man United didn't want to pay it. It's too much. So there was a price there. Baleba is really playing well versus Fulham. He would do. Of course, he's a very good player. CrossFit. We literally have a free run at Baleba. It's ridiculous. Absolutely. Guys, it has been a foul so far, mate. I agree that Slices has said it has been a foul so far. We have to admit that. I want them to do well. I want them to succeed because if they succeed, Man United succeed. And that is all I care about is Man United succeed. You know? It's bullshit. They did not bottle they did bottle it. They leaked it to the media that they wanted him and then shipped back. No, they bottled it because Ornstein said they bottled it. Ornstein said they bottled it, basically, because Ornstein said that they put a price on the table, but Man United cannot afford the price. They cannot pay that amount of money for him. What was the price? 150 million pounds, guys. Pounds, English pounds, 130 plus million euros, guys. So what you're looking at is basically, you know, Man United saying, whoa, no way, we're not going to pay that, which for me, overall, is bottling it. You know, I'm sorry, but that's no offense, you know, at the end of the day. John Wayne. John, look, we move on, John. What I would say, we move on, brother. It doesn't matter. It's over. We're not getting him. It's over. What I would say is that we might not never get him, you know, at the end of the day. We might not ever get him. Who are we going to get? There are loads of options out there, John, that we can get. Adam Wharton. We don't know until we try with Adam Wharton, but now we're in a position where we can't just focus on one player. We have to look at a bunch of players around now. We have to look at, obviously, Luciano Gume. We have to look at Lamine Kamara. We have to look at Edison. That's another one that has been on the radio waves. I would say this, right? If Man United don't manage to sign a midfielder, get a goalkeeper, do something. You know what I mean? Because at the moment, I was looking at Man United, and it is the spine of the team, which is the problem. We fixed the attack. Fair play. They've done that. It's an excellent attack. And at the end of last season, if someone told me we'll sign Sesko, Mbeumo, and Cunha, I would have thought you're having a laugh. But I would have also asked the question, what about the midfield? What about the goalkeeper? That is what I would have asked. Straight away, off the cuff, it would just win. What about the midfield? What about the goalkeeper? You know, I believe Man United will make some moves. I don't think they're going to be absolutely static this window. I don't think they're just going to forget about it and that's it. I think they will make some moves. I really do think that. But, you know, we're going to have to see next week. Obviously, it's the weekend. Things happen, of course, guys. Absolutely. But don't be angry. Guys, I'm telling you, don't be angry. Don't be self-righteous. Don't be this, I told you so. Don't be, you know, we're never going to get him anyway. Don't be, oh, he's an idiot. It's Ineos and this and that. Don't be like that because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What we have to concentrate on is what's going to happen on the 1st of September. Who we're going to get in. And then if we get nobody, I don't want anyone throwing Ruben Amorim under the bus. I don't want anyone blaming Ruben Amorim. I want people to remember this. I want them to remember this. I want them to remember who failed this window. Not them. Who did not back Ruben Amorim 100%. Right? And that's what I want to know. I don't want people attacking Ruben Amorim. Absolutely not. Jamie, hid behind the media. Absolutely, brother. Why did they not sell Bruno for that sake? And this is exactly what I'm saying, CrossFit, my friend, CrossFit. This is exactly what I said. And you reminded me, they rejected an offer for Bruno. Now, Bruno didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia because Man United wanted to keep Bruno. Okay, so Man United could have turned around to Bruno and said, "Look, Bruno, we got 100 million on the table. We need, you know, we're thinking about moving you on." Bruno would have left. The fact that Man United wanted to keep Bruno. You know, I said it back then. I don't want to see any excuses this summer. I don't want to see any noises, oh, you know what? You know, we ain't got no money business anymore because you rejected 100 million. They rejected 100 million. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Man, you should get Amadou Nana for 50 million, the destroyer. And he's a good player. Again, another player, but Man United are not linked to. And this is exactly precisely what we're talking about. A player Man United are not linked to. Why not? Man United need a midfielder, right? Man United need an affordable midfielder. Why are we not linked to these players? I beg the question. What, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just asking the question. If they cannot afford him, why don't we go out and just get Douglas Luiz? Why don't we get someone like that? There are players all around Europe. Koeman of Sporting Lisbon is another one Man United are linked to. What's going on with that, you know? Absolutely. Even with Bruno, United should have had the money anyway. I agree with that, John O'Connor. Absolutely. I blame the owners for not forcing through the deal. They could have forced through the deal. If they really wanted to do the deal for Bruno, they could have forced through that deal. They could have forced through that deal, guys. Absolutely. Jamie, I want someone to buy us when that drag-on clause is activated. Full sale, get the F out. I mean, I don't know if we missed the boat with that one, my friend Jamie. I don't know. I mean, hopefully that someone comes back. But, you know, with Ineos and with the Glazers at the moment, they're very interested in the regeneration project. I don't think they're going to be going anywhere. They're in line to make a lot of money, guys. I'm talking about billions here, right? They're in line to make that, guys. When you think about the regeneration project, you think about hotels, not just the stadium. We think about hotels, sponsorships, you know, franchises, you know, apartments. All this could possibly work in their favor in the next few years, guys. And they're in line to make a lot of money. And they know that. And they know that at the end of the day. Look, I want nothing more than to be wrong about them. I want nothing more than to sit here on September the 1st. And you know what? And I'm one of those guys who would admit it. I've got the intelligence to admit it, right? I'm one of those guys who will say, do you know what? They proved me wrong. Apologies. But I'm not apologizing and I'm not changing my opinion about it until we get a proper ruthless rebuild. We haven't had a proper midfielder since Roy Keane. Tell me a midfielder that we've signed that is proven, that is proven that, who can do it. Young, up and coming, strong, dedicated. There's no one out there. We haven't replaced Roy Keane. We've had a bit of, stop gaps. We've had Schneiderlin, we've had Schweinsteiger, players of that ilk. Do you know what I mean? Pogba, of course, was more like a number 8 kind of player going forward. We haven't really had a proper enforcer in that middle for a long time now. Do you know what I mean? Slices a sib. We must get a midfielder and a keeper. We must get him. Slices a sib. We do need that. And as long, look, I don't deal with absolutes here. I knew about Baleba. I knew in my back of my head that it might not happen, but it might happen, but it might not happen, right? But I also was very concerned about Man United's lack of contingency plan. A contingency plan that if it doesn't go well with Baleba, Man United got someone else in the wings waiting. Now, I like to think that we have. I like to think that there is players out there that Man United are going to get, that have a backup plan, that our backup plan that we've got, of course. I like to think that. But at the moment, I'm not hearing anything, guys. Big up, Derek. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Man United Cup run, league, different story. Academy players go to rivals. Big up, my friend. Dan, bro, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We already have one of the best young midfielders in Europe right now. That's Kobe Mainoo. We just need to get used to him correctly. What I would say to you, Dan, what I would say to you, we don't need to use Mainoo correctly. We just need to stop playing players in wrong positions. We need to stop playing Bruno as a number 8 because Bruno is a championship number 8. He's a world-class number 10, but he's a championship number 8. Let me tell you that. He is affecting Mainoo. He is affecting Ugarte. He's affecting Casemiro. It's him. It's him. He either should play in number 10 or not play at all. It's as simple as that. But we can't do that. The only way we can do that is if Ruben Amorim changes to a 4-2-3-1, a formation like something like that, and Bruno moves into that number 10 to 3 there. That's the only way we can fit him in because I don't like the idea of Bruno playing as number 8. And I think it disrupts Mainoo. I think it affects Mainoo. I think it's no coincidence since Bruno moves in there, Mainoo started to play really badly. Before we had Amrabat under Eric Ten Hag, and we had someone who can, can complement Mainoo a little bit, Big up everyone, of course, guys. What do you think of Morton and Andro Neto midfield option? Again, slice and sib. You know what? Exactly what I've been saying in this show. Man United are in for Adam Wharton. Man United are aware of, obviously, Lucien Agumi. Man United are aware of Lamine Kamara. Man United are aware of Hoyman. And we're aware of a lot of players. There are certain players, though, we're not aware of, and we're not even being linked to those players, i.e. Andre Neto and Morton Andre Neto, for example, Morton Hoyman, we are linked to. And there are players out there that can, even if it acts as a stopgap, could be a great addition in that midfield. There are players out there that can fix this team. There are players out there. I'm not all doom and gloom, guys. As much as people think it is, I think I'm all doom and gloom. I'm not doom and gloom, guys. I'm actually trying to look on the bright side. I'm trying to say that there are players out there that Man United can quite possibly get. There are players out there. We just have to go and get them, guys. Now, obviously, we've left ourselves in a little bit of time. We've wasted a bit of time. We wasted time, obviously. Now, obviously, when things don't go your way, it's a waste of time, isn't it? We spent 50 days on Mbeumo, but it went our way, so people don't mention that. But we spent 50 days on him. 50 days on Mbeumo. Mbeumo said he wanted to go to Man United on June the 1st, guys. June the 1st. And you know what? There we are, isn't it? And that's what it is. Jamie. Club screwed then. Big up, Jamie. Big up, Jamie. Brother Baleba is off. Let's move on to the next target. Please discuss what you feel would be good options. That's what we're doing. The Old Trafford. Big up Old Trafford. Hope you're doing well. That's what we're doing, my friend. Yeah, and Man United won't sell me shares, bro. Big up, Derek. Big up. I hope they sell me shares. If I had enough money, I would sell. Is Edison moved away from Atalanta? No, he's still at Atalanta, Ephraim. Edison's still at Atalanta. Another good player out there that Man United could possibly sign, guys. There are a lot of players out there that Man United could possibly look at. That would be an alternative. That will be like I said, I think I've said it about 10 times on this show. Lamine Kamara, Lucien Agume, Hoyman, Edison. I've said all of them. Those are the players there that, would fit Man United to a T for me. They were Adam Wharton. They would fit Man United to a T. There are players out there. Now, I'd like to think that Man United, when we're going for the midfield now, when we're going for a midfielder, we're going to be after 1 or 2 midfielders at a time, not just one midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Dan. Big up, Dan, by the way. We should at least be looking for a quality loan midfielder like other teams do to try. Absolutely, I agree with that. Options, isn't it, at the end of the day? Options. So, is Edison moved away from Atalanta? No, he's not moved away from Atalanta. Our midfield will get ran through tomorrow if he plays Bruno, number 8. Watch. Now, look, what I would say about that is that, unfortunately, if Sesko, Mbeumo, and Cunha play, Bruno are playing at number 8. I would bank on that. If he doesn't play in that position, it's like the only reason he isn't playing in that position is because basically he's dropped Sesko, and he's not dropped Sesko, but he's not played Sesko, and he's playing the false number 9. That's the only way I think that Bruno doesn't play in that number 8 position. However, if Sesko does play, you know that Bruno's going to play that number 8. Whether we like it or not, he's going to play that number 8, and I don't think it's good enough. I don't. But then again, what I would say to you guys to counter a lot of things, Man United against Arsenal is an equaliser. It's a great equaliser. When Man United play Arsenal, it's always a 50-50 game, especially recently. We have a decent record against Arsenal, guys, right? We do have a decent. Overall, I know in recent years we haven't. We did beat them last season in the FA Cup with 10 men and a referee against us. We do generally have a good record against Arsenal. All feelings are pointing towards a draw in this game. They're all pointing towards a draw. I hope we win. Absolutely. Slices of Sib. True. Who are other options done similar, better than Baleba in your opinion? I think there are up-and-coming players, Slices of Sib, that I would take a risk on. Lamine Kamara, like I said, I would take a risk on. Of course, Adam Wharton, I would take it. But obviously it depends on the price. Edison, another one I would take. Another player that I would take. There's a few out there, mate. And there are a few. Baleba's not the only player in the world. I know that people are going to be, we didn't get Baleba. He's not the only bloody player in the world. And this is the one thing we have to understand. We have to move on. I know it's annoying. I know it's frustrating. I know that we want the player in the door. But it's not going to happen now anyway. So we have to move on. We have to move on. And we have to say, right, guys, we got 14 days until the end of the window. What is next? Who are we going to get next? Who's the next player we're going to get? Do you know what I mean? Jamie, you asked everyone in this fan base what worries going into season. It's the midfield and the goalkeeper. Hayden Hackney is a cheap, good option. Yeah, but he's a championship player, so that represents incredible risk. Now, you said earlier, John, no, I don't think it was you, but I was seeing someone else in the stream, and they made a very good point. They said that if it's not better than Ugarte, are we going to sign him? Hayden Heather's not better than Ugarte. He's not better than Mainoo. So would we waste our time with that? We have to. Championship. We know that championships is completely different to the Premier League, as you know, when championship teams go to the Premier League. So we have to look at it and say, is Hayden Hackney? Is Hayden Hackney better than Ugarte, Mainoo? Those two in particular, and you have to say no. They're not. He's not better. He's unproven. He's a championship player. I'm not saying he won't be. Maybe we could sign him for the future. Be a great bench option. But then again, you could say so is Kone. Kone is a great bench option. Fletcher is a great bench option. So are Man United in a position to be signing bench options? We'll have to wait and see anyway. He might become a generational. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to flip-flop from this. Like I said, cut out the middleman. Maybe sign him. Maybe Hayden Hackney's that guy. Maybe he's the guy to take us forward. But at the moment, I think it's a bit of a fan theory. And I think that with the championship thing, it does make play a bit. If he was playing in the Premier League, I'd be singing a different hymn from a different hymn sheet at the moment. I'd be singing a completely different song if he was playing in the Premier League right now. But the fact that he's playing in the championship, I just don't think he's going to barge Ugarte and Mainoo out of this team. Unfortunately. Good to see you, my friend Don Bro. Hope you're doing well, of course. I think Hackney cannot be done. And then who can we get then at the end of the day? If we can't get Hackney, who can we get, guys? Absolutely. Championship player. There are other teams interested in him, though. I would add, though, however. If we end up with Hayden Hackney after all that's a failure, yeah, it is. Yeah, because he's a championship player. Be nice if you coach CEO and a 22 or 25 squad. Sorry about figures, but if they talk to you. Be nice if you coach CEO, manager, and I don't get what you mean by that, Derek Martin. Be nice if you coach CEO, manager, and 22 or 25 squad. Sorry about figures, but if they talk to you. I don't know what you mean by clarify for that, Derek. I don't want to say something that I was wrong. So if you lose Arsenal, I think they were panic. I actually don't think we're going to lose to Arsenal, guys. I really don't think we're going to lose to Arsenal. I actually think Man United are going to get a result. Whether that's a winner or a draw, I actually believe Man United will get a result against Arsenal, guys. Some call me delusional. I don't think so. I think we will get a result against Arsenal. I do. Miles, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I hope one of these days can get it done. What are the difference it will make? We need some physicality in midfield. Thanks for your great channel, Sal, brother. Thank you so much, Miles, as usual. Great comments as usual and great compliments, my friend. Really appreciate you for that. Absolutely, really appreciate you. Jamie, he was class against Madrid in pre-season. It's pre-season, isn't it? Big up, Sal. Hate watch of Spurs unsuccessful. Yeah, I'm not doing any watches today because I don't look at any game today and I think, wow, what a game. You know, that I have to watch that game. There's nothing there that I think that is worth wasting 2 hours of my life to watch, apart from the Man United game tomorrow. I mean, you know, we watched Liverpool yesterday. I was going to watch Aston Villa against Newcastle, but I had this inkling that it was going to be a boring game. And lo and behold, it was a boring game, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. Smash the likes and subscribe. Big up, my friend. Big up, Ephraim. I don't know who you're talking about, Jamie. Sorry, mate. Who are you talking about? Big up, LT. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I thought you might buy a cheaper option in the centre midfield and go all out for Bruno next season again due to Casemiro leaving and possibly Bruno, which is also possible. The only thing with that, LT, which we have to look at things objectively, is the fact that Baleba might have a magnificent season next season. And then the teams that are not in for him right now might be in for him next season. The likes of Real Madrid, the likes of Barcelona, and other teams around Europe, they might be in for him as well. Man City, Liverpool, they might have some money left. Money then, you know what I mean? They might go, right, we want Baleba. And then we're going to have competition. So when you sleep on players and you snooze, you lose. That's what happens, you know, at the end of the day. Ciao. I said it belongs again. Midfielders going alongside with Bruno will struggle. He is a problem. Mark my words. Bruno will do Hollywood ball against Arsenal tomorrow. Won't be surprised. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, of course. Big up, Chow. Hope we get Wharton ASAP. I hope we get someone, mate. I really do. Whether it's Lamine Kamara, whether it is Agume, whether it is Hoyman, whether it's one of those players, I want us to just get a midfielder in there. But guys, it cannot be underestimated that, you know, we need a goalkeeper as well. You know, we need a goalkeeper as well. You know your team, Sal. True, Reds. Oh, you always do. Thank you so much, Dan, bro. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. Thank you for joining the stream every day, my friend. Really legend of the chat, of course. Edison was quality against Madrid. Oh, yeah, Edison is a quality player. Edison is a quality player. Another one. Another one bites the dust. He was close to going to Saudi Arabia this year, but it didn't quite materialize. Man United, they're in for him. Let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens with him. We should hijack Douglas Luiz. Be a lot cheaper. Maybe we could use Sancho, you know. Why are we not looking at Edison at Atalanta? I think we are, but we're slow. Any Lamens news up? Nothing on regards to Lamens at the moment. Man United have just basically digested the fact that we're not getting Baleba. So you're going to hear more news coming out, obviously, on Monday to Friday. There is rumours about Man United. Obviously, there are knee-jerk reactions, and we have to be aware of knee-jerk reactions. We have to be aware of, how do you say it, reactionary media. So basically, when Man United have had the news about Baleba, Man United seldom are going to be linked to players all around Europe, including Agume, including Wharton, including Hoyman. We're going to be linked to these players, and that is a given. What I like to do is differentiate what from the reality from what is fake. And I like to try and separate it. Now, the midfielders that I've mentioned, I wouldn't mention them if they were unrealistic, right? I would not mention if they're unrealistic. The midfielders that I mentioned are realistic propositions. It's up to Man United to make that move. It's up to them to make the move. Slices of Sib. Hackney is not worth too inexperienced. I agree. Slices of Sib, absolutely. Championship. I think Amram knows that Bruno is not but an 8, but somehow believes he can get Bruno to be disciplined in his position by getting a good players around him so he doesn't need to. Why should we do that, though, LT? Why? When we got players, you know, we got players who can help the system, can help the balance of the team. Why is Bruno all of a sudden this messiah that we cannot drop? I said it the other day, guys. You can have a player, right, who's got the best stats in the league, right? Goals, penalties, free kicks, assists. But for some reason, you move him out of the team is better. Because it fits because the system is much more balanced and you win more games. I think this is exactly what is happening with Bruno. I think this is exactly a Bruno situation where you remove Bruno from the team and the balance all of a sudden becomes better. Like, I was looking at a game. If you watch the game against Fiorentina and you analyze it and you look at the game against Fiorentina, Bruno was deep. It was deep. And he was hitting these long Hollywood passes all the way up to Mbeumo, all the way up to Cunha. And everyone knows Cunha and Mbeumo thrive when they get the ball to feet. When they get to ball to feet and they turn on a sixpence and they run at the defense, that is where they thrive. Kicking a ball 100 yards up the pitch, 30 meters in the air is not what we want. You might as well get Marion Fellaini up there. You might as well get Marion Fellaini up there and put the big man up front, Duncan Ferguson, put the big man up front, and that's it, you know? Ephraim, so if we have to start Bruno on the midfield is a must. Which players in the team complement him? I don't think they complement him in the midfield. I really don't. I don't think any player complements him in our squad right now. In our squad right now, I don't think any players complement Bruno as the number 8. I think there are many players who complement Bruno as the number 10. However, I think he's a world-class number 10, by the way. But as a number 8, I don't think anyone complements him. I think he actually disrupts the team, the midfield, the balance. I do. And people just need to build triangles around him. Just triangles around him and pass, and he's out of the game. You know? Douglas the Weed going to Forest too late. Yeah, you snooze, you lose. I know he has a championship, but look at Eze and Elise came from the championship. They did, John Wayne. You're absolutely right. They did come from the championship. But how much Premier League experience did they have before they became good? How much Premier League experience did they have before they became good? Now, you can't bring a player to the championship to Man United and play him. And the reason is this. Man United are not Crystal Palace. We cannot nurture young players like Eze, like Elise. We cannot do that. We can't afford to play them, over and over again until they become good. For example, we've probably got Eze and Elise in our team right now, in our squad right now. But we can't afford to put those young players in to develop them because Man United are not Crystal Palace. I know they won the FA Cup, but so can Wigan win the FA Cup. Man United not Crystal Palace. Man United need to qualify for Europe, proper Europe. I'm talking about Champions League, Europa League, things like that. Man United need to go up the league. We can't paint everything with the same brush. The overriding thing is this, right? Crystal Palace are a different animal when it comes to developing youth players because that's what they do. That's what they're good at. They're a bit like Brighton, but they like success a little bit more than Brighton, Big up, John Wayne. Good comment, though. Old Trafford, what's going on? We should go for a good number 8 if we are planning to for Baleba next year, as per Romano. Get a good goalkeeper and get I don't care about quoting Romano. I don't care about what Romano has to say at the end of the day because at the end of the day, who knows what's going to happen next season? Even Romano doesn't know that. Baleba is not a guarantee to go to Man United next year. And I would say he's not a guarantee to go to Man United next year. I've been here before, I've seen it, done it, worn the T-shirt, bought the mug. And I was a mug for believing it. Man United will not sign Baleba next year. I'm telling you right now. Remember these words, guys. We will not sign Baleba next year. There could be a whole number of reasons why. Unless we get an agreement in principle, I don't think Man United will sign Baleba next year. I'm putting all my eggs in that basket. We'll win against Arsenal 4-3. How many mistakes is coming from Onana? Slice us a sib. Come on, mate. We really do Scott McTominay. We really miss Scott McTominay. We really do, actually, Don. I mean, he was a good number 10, though. He weren't a midfielder. He was a number 10. Where are we going to play him? We can play him as a false number 9, Dan. Big up. He plays well at Napoli. He's playing well at Napoli because Napoli is the right club for him. The league is slower. It's a different league. It suits his game. I don't think the Premier League suited his game, to be honest, even though he wasn't the worst problem in our team. Sal, at the moment, how you rate the transfer window right now? How would I rate the transfer window? 4 or 5 out of 10. If it ends like this, it's a 4 or 5 out of 10. 3 players is nowhere near good enough. No players out. Rashford on loan. That's it. It's not good enough. And it's late. Four's actually being complimentary. 4 is actually being kind, Jamie, told you Spurs look good this season. Their midfield is ridiculous. They're playing Burnley, Jamie. They're playing Burnley. Villa and Newcastle stunk up goal. Absolutely, mate. I told you I was going to do a watch along for that, and I just luckily I changed my mind. Spurs are a massive threat to top 5. Yeah, they are. Clarification. I don't know squad numbers. CEO business is a businessman and figures miss numbers. Hey, bro, how are you? Academy. I don't. Hold on. I don't quite. 1 second. Let me just clear this. I don't quite wear your clarification. I don't know squad numbers. CEO business is a business and man figures mean numbers. Hey, bro, how are you? How are you a academy player? I'm not sure what you mean there. I'm gonna have to put that in Google Translate or something or Chat GTP or something, guys. Slices of Sib. Next season, Casemiro, Ugarte, Onana, Luke Shaw, buying it all must be sold and gone. Why not this season, though, Slices of Sib? I mean, at the end of the day, let's wait and see what happens with Ugarte, mate. When Ugarte was playing for PSG, he had some of the best stats in Europe. Let's see what he does this season. Let's give him a chance this season. Let's see how it goes this season, of course. Ephraim. Sal, if we bid for Baleba, do you think their stance will change at Brighton? You never know. What I would say to you, Ephraim, is that the only way their stance can change is if Baleba came out right now and said, I want to leave. I want to go to Man United. I want to be transfer listed. If that goes public, then obviously it doesn't make business sense on and off the pitch to keep a player like Carlos Baleba at the club, because obviously when a player is not happy, the price reduces, doesn't it? The price reduces. And that's the only way they're going to sell him. If Baleba came out and said, look, I want to go to Man United, it's in Man United's court, but Baleba hasn't done that. So, of course. Jamie, it's criminal that we said no to Paulinho. Big up, my friend. Yeah, he's on his way to retirement. I would agree with Slice of Sib there, Jamie. I mean, he's finished, mate. We don't need any more players like that who are going to be playing a year, and then after a year they're going to be disappeared. Of course, out of the whole top 6 clubs, our midfield is the worst. I wouldn't say top 6. I would say top 10, mate. Top 15. Especially Bruno's not a midfielder. We have to rely on our midfield now. We have to rely on our attackers to do that from now. The problem is Slices of Sib, and I'm going to give you this little conundrum here, right? We can rely on our attack, but our attack is not good enough if we got a poor midfield. The midfield is the supply to the attack. When you got Bruno hitting hero balls to Mbeumo and Cunha, what they're not used to, it's going to be very difficult to try and gain momentum, to try and have some sort of attacking pattern. Do you know what I mean? Some sort of an attacking pattern going on. With Fernandes in this team, top 5, I fear, is out of reach. He makes too many mistakes. There you go. I agree with that one. Oh, yeah, there is no way we're getting a Baleba next year, 100%. I call it now. We're not getting Baleba 100% next year. I will tell you that right now, Slice and Sib, and I agree with you that. Next year, we are not getting Baleba. I'll tell you where Baleba's going to go. Let me tell you where Baleba's going to go. Baleba's going to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona next year. Believe this. This is an exclusive, guy. It will go to Real Madrid or Barcelona next year. It is a 3 out of 10. To Sunderland destroying West Ham 3-0. Look, guys, didn't I say it, guys? Didn't I say that Sunderland would be the surprise package this season? What did I say? What did I say? Some people were saying, oh, Sal, yeah, but loads of teams sign loads of players. Look what happens to them. Look what happens to Sunderland. Sunderland are a different animal. They've signed some good players, guys. They actually back their manager. They actually back their manager more than I could say about our ownership. Granit Xhaka will be their player of the season. Granit Xhaka will be the surprise package of the season. I'm calling it. Big up Sunderland, by the way. I'm not saying that we will get Baleba next year, but we need a number 8 now. No, yeah, we do, bro. We do, mate. We definitely do. A 8 and a good goalkeeper takes us to Champions League. Depends who it is, though, isn't it? It has to be better than Ugarte. It has to be better than Mainoo, isn't it? The Old Trafford, my man. Hopefully it is. True. We need a revamp that midfield side of ours. Absolutely. And you can't expect us to be this attacking machine if we got no midfield. You need that connection between the glue that sticks them together. Even if it's not a world class. Look, Man United have never had every single player in their team is world class. But what Man United had, they had players who could fit a system. You know, John O'Shea was not the best player in the world. Tom Cleverley was not the best player in the world. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I'm talking about. They have players that fit the system, that can act as a connect between the two. Sometimes, you're looking for more than you need. And I think we do that. We're guilty of doing that sometimes. I'm just wondering why Amram wanted Bruno to stay. I know, mate. But what you would do to that, mate, what you would do with that child is that you live and die with decisions in football, don't you? It's, at the end of the day, this is you make your bed, you lay in it. I hope that Bruno succeeds next season, and I hope that he plays well next season. But I can't see him being any better than what he's been. I mean, the last time I remember Bruno being like this magnificent world-class player was when he signed with Solskjaer. And now he stat pads a lot. There's a lot of penalties. There is. And, there's a lot of people that blow smoke up his backside all the time. He's not a biggest problem, but he is a problem when he plays in that number 8 because that is the midfield. And the midfield, obviously, is the most important part of the pitch, as well as the goalkeeper, by the way. Big up, Ami. I hope you're doing well. Did they sign a Penda last year? I heard talks were happening. Big up, LT. Who, Jamie? A Penda. Ugarte is a good ball winner, but needs to be better on the ball. And that's why he's got good at big games, but becomes a bit of a liability against smaller teams in low block. But he can work on it. Let's see what happens, LT. Great comment, mate. Absolutely, as usual. You're absolutely spot on. Spot on. And that's what he needs to improve on. And hopefully this season, I'm not going to write him off. As I said, I'm not going to write him off. I'm going to see what he does this season. He's got a preseason under his belt. Let's see what he does this season, of course. Yeah. Sorry, Jack. Yeah, they just signed him. Sunderland are going to be all right. Don't worry about that. They're going to be all right. They've backed their manager. And listen, they sell out their stadium. I remember Sunderland going down to the Championship, going down to League One, selling out the stadium. We're talking about 40, 50,000. You don't think Baleba will stay in the Premier League? That's something at least. Nice call on that. Nice call on that. I thought maybe Liverpool or Chelsea get him. Real Madrid looks promising for Baleba. And this is the problem, isn't it, Slices of Sib? And you know it. You know it as well as I do. This season was the best opportunity for Man United to get Baleba. They put a 150 million price tag on his head. Man United should just pay the money. Just pay the money. Just pay the money. I'm telling you right now, Brighton would accept it. Put 100 million smackaroonies on that table. They would accept the offer. 100%. They would. So, I think in Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, all these teams are going to be vying for his signature next year. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. He's not Josh, Jamie. It's just that they had another midfielder there. He's definitely not Josh. He's definitely not Josh. He's definitely not Josh, mate. Let's not talk about our players like that. At the end of the day, they should have lost to Tottenham as well, PSG, by the way. Where was Neves? Have been following the club for 25 years. The years after Sir its first have been hard. Yeah, it has been. Man United fans have been... Man United fans... Let me tell you something about Man United fans. Man United fans deserve the best. They deserve it. The years that I've been hard-hole fans, I feel Amram is a glimmer of hope. He is a glimmer of hope, Old Trafford. And we're going to be backing him all the way to the end because we understand the context. Unfortunately, there are people out there, the Old Trafford. There are people out there that won't understand the context. They won't understand what Ruben Amram is going through. He's going to go through this season. They won't understand that he hasn't been backed 100%. Do you know what I mean? He can be, Jamie. Let's not tear him down. Let's not tear him down. Let's not big up other players who don't play for us and tear down our own. We don't do that, mate. At the end of the day, Ugarte didn't have a preseason last season. We got to be smart. Yeah. Sal, we need to win tomorrow. It's mad to think we did not win 2 in a row. It's mad. That is mad, isn't it? That we haven't won 2 in a row. He's gonna go more than 100 million. 115. Jailani. I believe we'll be by default will stay with us for the next 3-year project at least. Let's wait and see. Guys, you know one thing about football. Football's an educator. Football's an educator. And you know what I would say is that next season we're going to see what's going to happen, ain't we? We're going to see what goes on next season and how Man United are going to fare tomorrow. And the way Man United fare tomorrow will give us a picture of how it's going to go. Man United got lose net tomorrow and play badly. We know that it's not good enough, and we know we're going to have a bad season. We go tomorrow and we win against Arsenal, which I believe we will, right? I said 3-1 Man United. Then I think there's a glimmer of hope. There is a glimmer of hope. And I think if we go and beat Fulham and then we go and beat Burnley, then everyone's not going to be thinking about Baleba. People are not going to be thinking about that, guys. Absolutely not. But we back Ruben Amram. We will back Ruben Amram all the way. It's not to do with the manager. We've got to stop sacking managers, and we've got to start believing in the process, guys, and start believing in backing this manager more than 1-2 seasons, guys. Absolutely. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox. It's been a great show, great conversations, guys. Again, I will be sorry about the poll didn't work, but I will do another poll, guys. Don't worry about that. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day, great night, great evening. Don't forget to smash a like on the way out as well, guys. It's very important, guys. And please don't forget to basically put your notifications on in case I go live. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, guys. Have a great evening. I will be back later on if anything breaks, guys. And I will be back tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, guys. Have a great evening. Peace.